Alright guys, we're doing more fantasy baseball content, and here I'm going to tell you guys about some of the players I'm looking to buy low on right now in trades. But first, I want to thank everyone for being back here and supporting the channel. We're almost to that 4,000 subscriber goal, so if you guys are watching this and not subscribed yet, please go down there and click that big black button. Also, please drop this video a like if you're enjoying what you're watching. But alright, let's get into it. Buying a player low is a bit of a delicate game. You don't want to come with an offer too low and then offend your league mate, but you also don't want to pay full price for a player that you know their manager is a little bit spooked by. Also, you really just don't want to be ridiculous and ask for the wrong types of players. Sure, guys like Bobby Witt Jr., Elly De La Cruz, Yordan Alvarez, Tarek Skubal, Francisco Lindor, and Paul Skeens are not exactly having the best starts to the season, but those are super mega elite players, and their managers are likely not going to trade them for anything. I guess, sure, why not? Offer them a trade for 90 cents on the dollar, try and get those players a bit cheaply, but those are just probably not the guys that are going to be on the move unless you still make an offer that's full freight. Also, you have to act quickly with your buy lows, because things move fast this early in the season. Remember when Rafael Devers was the worst hitter on earth? Well, he got his OPS up from 395 to 825 in just 3 days, and now looks to be all the way back. James Wood took his OPS from 641 to 981 in like 36 hours with 3 home runs. Those two players easily could have been in a buy low list if I made this video a week ago, but now, no way. If you like a player and you really feel like they're going to get better and still have a great season, you have to send out an offer ASAP. Because just one good game could make all that panic melt away, then now it's no longer a buy low anymore. Because you are still buying a player low. You're not exactly ripping somebody off. Fantasy baseball trades, all fantasy sports trades, there needs to be something good going each way. It's not the intention for these trades to be totally one-sided. It's just the idea that you can pay 75 cents on the dollar for a player that you know you're getting that whole dollar back for by the end of the season. One way I like to identify these players, especially hitters, is if they have a very low batting average early on in the season. Batting average is one of the first things you see when you click on a player's page. So some people can be really scared of a low batting average, maybe like one that starts with a 1 early on. You see that 185 batting average, you can get a little scared. But truthfully, an early season batting average means nothing, and I'm targeting players right now who have oddly low batting average, especially relative to their career norms and underlying stats. Just like the first player on this list, Austin Riley, third baseman on the Atlanta Braves. Riley's gotten off to a very slow start this season with just 1 home run, a 175 batting average, and nearly 40% strikeout rate through 2 weeks of play. But I'm not worried at all, especially because we just went through almost the exact same thing with Austin Riley last season. On June 13th, he had a 220, 288, 330 triple slash with just 3 home runs. That's more than 2 months from right now, and he was still hitting that poorly. Then from that point on through the rest of the season, he had 16 home runs and 942 OPS over 56 games, very much in line with his career norms. But that was until a very annoying hit by pitch late in the season fractured his right hand and ended his season early. There definitely is a little bit of fear with the recovery from a hand-wrist injury like that for Riley, especially because he got hit on the same hand in spring training, and there was a bit of a scare there as well. He had to miss a day or 2 of games. But all of his underlying power metrics say that he's totally fine, and there's nothing to be worried about. He's already hit the ball 113 miles an hour, which is very much in line with his normal career max exit velocities in a season. He has better bat speed than he did at any point last year, up in the 95th percentile of all hitters in the league. Plus, he's lifting the ball and pulling it regularly. All signs that the power is fine. What Riley's problem is right now is timing. He's swinging and missing a ton. I mentioned that 40% strikeout rate before. His whiff rate is way higher than his career averages. Not even close. I also mentioned the fact that he is lifting and pulling the ball regularly. He might be in a situation right now where he's lifting the ball too much. Of all his batted balls this season, he's only hit 2 on the ground. You don't want to hit no ground balls. That means that your swing path is really out of whack. Even those 2 balls that he hit on the ground were really just low sinking liners. Again, you don't want to be hitting a lot of ground balls, especially as a power hitter like Riley, but you at least want to have a level swing path so some of the balls just kind of happen to go on the ground. Right now, he has a bit of an uppercut thing going on right now. Everything's going in the air. He's swinging and missing a lot. It's just a little bit out of whack, a tiny bit off. But he hit a home run on Thursday and is starting to look more comfortable at the plate. He will get that swing path and timing back down soon and definitely be a monster again in the middle of that talented Braves lineup. Start offering some trades for Riley before that stat line totally bounces back to normal. Next up is a fun one. It's Jacob deGrom, starting pitcher on the Texas Rangers. deGrom is coming off one of his worst starts in literally half a decade, where he allowed 4 earned runs, 2 home runs, and only struck out 3 batters in 5 2/3 innings last weekend against the Tampa Bay Rays. It's really bizarre to see deGrom miss that few bats and give up that many runs, which makes this a perfect time to swoop in and try and acquire him. Because truthfully, overall, I'm encouraged by the way he started this season. Always the biggest thing for deGrom is that he is healthy right now and he looks comfortable on the mound. Huge check mark. With that, his fastball velocity is down for the first time in years. Usually when you say a pitcher's fastball velocity is down, it's a bad thing. But for a guy like deGrom, it's probably a good thing. Because I think that's the biggest thing that's been in his way of staying healthy for a full season. He made the promise in spring training that he was going to try to take a few ticks off his fastball in the effort to stay healthy this year. And what do you know? His average fastball velocity is down from about 99 miles an hour to 97 miles an hour. The lowest since his Cy Young season in 2018. 2018! That was a different lifetime. There were definitely some questions whether or not deGrom was going to stick to this plan of throwing not as hard this season, but it's a really good sign that he has stuck to this plan, he meant it, and he seems to be fully intended on staying healthy. Past that, I think this is a bit of an expectation question. By no means do I think Cy Young award winning Jacob deGrom is about to walk through that door, but he can still be an elite pitcher with less velocity velocity and probably less reliance on his fastball and dominant slider. He's shown an added level of comfort with both his changeup and his curveball that we have not seen from DeGrom since those Cy Young Award winning seasons in 2018 and 2019. In his first start of the year, where he shut out the Boston Red Sox over 5 innings with 6 strikeouts, he threw that curveball and changeup combined 25% of the time. The last time he threw those two pitches for a combined 25% of the time in a single start was back in 2020, 5 years ago. Of course, he didn't have to the last few years because he was sitting 100 miles an hour with his fastball and 93 miles an hour with his slider and was literally dotting those two pitches exactly where he wanted to put them every single time he threw them. But that's just not the case anymore as he's gotten older and had many more injuries. Bottom line, this is a great approach for DeGrom to stay healthy and one that we know he can be successful with because we've seen it before. Still having those pitches be really, really good despite not having super mega elite velocity while having the ability to mix in this other stuff that he's used a lot in his career and we know he's comfortable with, to me, means that he can probably be an elite high-end pitcher for a good chunk of the season. I'm not talking anything crazy. I'm talking like 130, 140 innings with something like 180 strikeouts, an ERA that starts with a 2. That's an amazing pitcher, and one you can probably trade for than less that's actually worth right now. Next up is Christian Walker, first baseman on the Astros, and he is off to a horrible start this season. He has a 146 batting average with 1 home run and nearly 40% strikeout rate in 2 weeks of play. That is so bad. But if you look a little bit deeper under the hood of what Christian Walker's doing at the plate, he's doing most things right. Over 50% of the balls he's hit in play have been hard hit. He's also had the batted balls 113 miles an hour, which is very much in the norms for his career max exit velocities. On top of that, his bat speed is good. So he's hitting the ball hard consistently, he's getting to the max exit velocity he usually gets to in his career, and he's swinging the bat just as hard as he always does. Check, check, check. Christian Walker looks okay to me. But I did mention that 40% strikeout rate. It's just terrible timing right now for Walker. But I think a big reason for that is that he didn't have a spring training. He strained his left oblique in the first week of March and only wound up taking 10 plate appearances throughout the entire swing. So right now, what we're seeing of Christian Walker, that is his spring training. This is it. These are his first 2 weeks of actually swinging a bat and timing up major league pitching. Every other hitter in the league is 3, 4, 5 weeks ahead of him. This is also the beginning of his first year with a new team. A lot of adjustments happening for Walker at the same time that he, again, didn't have a spring training while he's still hitting the ball hard. Also something cool, a step in the right direction. On Thursday night, he drew his first 2 walks of the season. We're really happy for Christian Walker about that. It's right there in his name. He was one of the last 4 qualified hitters in Major League Baseball not to draw a walk, so it's very nice to see him get that monkey off his back. He also could stand to lift the ball a little bit more. Too many of his batted balls are on the ground. Again, he's still hitting it hard. Not a bad thing, but just finding that swing path, lifting the ball, the way he's pulling it right into the Crawford boxes, the way we envisioned it in the offseason when the Astros signed him. Again, I really think this all comes back to him not having a spring training, and we're a few weeks away, if not days away, from Christian Walker going back to being the player he's always been, and he can be a really big help at first base for all of your teams out there. Next up is Bryce Miller, starting pitcher in the Seattle Mariners, and this is a bit of a homer pick because Bryce Miller was my bold prediction Cy Young Award winner in the American League, and he's gotten off to a bad start this year, with 8 strikeouts and 5 walks over his first 11 innings pitched, and those 11 innings pitched came in 2 games against the A's at home and then the Giants on the road. 2 pretty good matchups, so it is a little disappointing to see Miller get off to this slow start. And it's even more frustrating because all of the pieces are still there, but it's just not executing. It's not coalescing right now for Miller like it did the end of last season when he was one of the best pitchers in baseball over the final 3 months. He's not getting ahead of hitters like he did then. He's not putting them away like he did then. And there are some tiny adjustments happening with Miller, and that's something we've come to expect from him because he is one of the biggest tinkerers for any pitcher in the league. His arm angle and vertical release point are a little bit higher in the early part of the season so far, and with that has changed the movement profiles just like a teeny tiny bit on basically all of his pitches. He's getting a little bit more hop, a little bit more induced vertical break on his fastball, and a similar added lift on his 2-seamer, which has become a bit more of a go-to pitch for him early this season, almost sneaking ahead of that 4-seam fastball against right-handed batters. He's also added more depth on his knuckle curve, a new pitch he developed last season, but he's also lost some vertical drop on his splitter, also a new pitch that he was developing last season. Overall, tiny changes in every direction, but the stuff I'd say looks completely fine. Really, the issue for Miller right now is execution and command. I mentioned that knuckle curve and splitter being new pitches he developed last season. Those were the keys for him in a huge breakout 2024 because Miller as a rookie really struggled against left-handed batters, and once he figured out that knuckle curve midsummer and kind of grew in comfortability with that splitter as the season went on, they became weapons for him against left-handed batters, and he was able to set them down much more easily than he had in the past. But so far this season, he's not executing those pitches well at all. He's either leaving them up or throwing them too far down. He's not getting them in the right exact same spots he was last year when he was just dicing hitters up. Maybe that's the arm angle stuff. Maybe that's a little bit more different, slightly different movement on those pitches. Maybe it's just the fact that neither of those pitches are even a year old yet, and it's just regular ebb and flow of a pitcher with a new pitch. But still, at the end of the day, Miller is a very good pitcher with a very good home park, with a really good fastball leading the charge, and tons of secondary pitches that will all wind up coalescing soon. He is a tinkerer. He loves to experiment. I'm very confident Bryce Miller will find a way and get in a hot streak sooner rather than later. The one cause for concern, the one thing I would keep an eye on, it's been cold so far to start this season. It's still April. Velocity's not in peak season form form yet, but his fastball has been down a tick. If there's one thing that could take Miller down, it will be that fastball losing velocity. So keep an eye on Miller's fastball velocity if you do intend to trade for him. Last up on the big list is Jazz Chisholm Jr., second baseman on the Yankees. It's weird to put Jazz on this list because he was so hot those first few games of the season, but after a very slow week and a half, he's down to a 180 batting average and 255 on base percentage. That's still come with the high slugging percentage, the 4 home runs and the 4 stolen bases, but it has been a bit of a fall from grace for Jazz in the early part of the season. And I think a big part of that, you guys might think I sound crazy, but it was just the excitement from what that season became. That opening weekend series against the Brewers, the Yankees were the story. It was the torpedo bats, it was the home runs, it was pure hoopla. And Jazz is a star deep down. He was relishing in that kind of glory. He was doing the podcast stuff, he was doing the media stuff, he was going around everywhere. Him and Anthony Volpe turned a basic double play, and the MLB main account highlighted it. Like, they were the stars. All eyes were on the Yankees, as they always are. But I think this may have made Jazz's eyes a bit bigger than his stomach. He's gotten a little homer happy. And I say he's gotten a little homer happy for 2 reasons. First off, his swing has gotten a bit longer this season compared to last season. We have great data that's been live since last year on Baseball Savant with bat tracking, where we can see players' bat speed, which I cite a lot, and also their swing length. Oftentimes, if your swing gets longer, it'll increase your bat speed because you have more time to build up that torque and go through the zone. But while Jazz's swing has gotten a little bit longer, he hasn't increased his bat speed, which is just telling me that he's kind of corkscrewing and trying to hit the ball out. Another thing that's telling me that Jazz really trying to hit the ball out right now is a stat I hate using and I never cite, but his average launch angle is crazy. The reason I hate average launch angle and basically never ever use it in my analysis or content is because it's stupid. It's just a really stupid stat. Average launch angle just takes the average of the angle of every ball you put in play. So if you hit a pop-up 80 degrees and then you hit 2 ground balls at 0 degrees, it's going to look like you have a great launch angle and hit a bunch of line drives. And really, you have either pop-ups or ground balls. So I hate that stat. But it's good in this case for Jazz because it can tell us a lot about his batted ball distribution. His average launch angle right now is about double what it has been for most of his career. And then you look at his ground ball to fly ball ratio, and it's about 3-to-1 fly balls to ground balls, where normally for Jazz and most players, those are about even. That tells you have a level swing, and sometimes you get a little bit under and you hit that high line drive that gets over the fence. Sometimes you get a little bit on top of it, you hit that ground ball. In the middle, you get the line drives. Right now, it seems like Jazz is swinging up on the ball, and he's really trying to get under it, push it out of there, that short right field porch in Yankee Stadium. Bottom line, it's just a little bit out of whack. The swing, the bat path, those are things I do think will calm down though for Jazz as the season comes on. This to me feels like the regular ebb and flow of a player that's still trying to find his place in a new team, in a new city, in a new environment, a lot of fun things happening at once. He just needs to take a nice deep breath, understand the player that he is, stay within himself, and he'll be super productive all season long. Try and grab Jazz right now if someone's really scared of these last few slow weeks. Now quickly, I'm going to run through a bunch of other players I'm looking to buy low on right now. First off, Sonny Gray, who's missing a ton of bats, getting a ton of strikeouts, not allowing many base runners, but has had poor batted ball luck. That will even out. Then Brandon Nimmo. He's been more aggressive at the plate as the cleanup hitter in a very talented Mets lineup. He has a great quality of contact, and he's seeing plenty of pitches with runners on base. Good sign for a hitter. But the line drives just aren't falling right now. They will fall. Nimmo's going to have a very productive season. Then Christian Yelich, hitting the ball really hard, but just hasn't exactly gotten through the hole. That Brewers team is kind of spiraling right now on offense. I think they will find their stride soon. Then Brent Rooker still hitting the ball very hard. Plate discipline's not great, but something I like about Rooker right now, it's likely that the Athletics call up star prospect Nick Kurtz soon, which could push either Kurtz or Tyler Soderstrom, the first baseman, to DH. If they push one of them to DH, it's likely Rooker plays some outfield. Him getting outfield eligibility would be a big help for him in leagues, not be utility only. Then the Contreras brothers, William and Wilson, just 2 fantastic, the best hitting catchers in the league. Too good to be this bad. Then Ian Happ, everything under the hood's in line with his career norms, just waited out. Tyler Glasnow, the command is very bad, but it won't be bad for long. He's Tyler Glasnow. He's going to have an amazing season as long as he stays healthy. If you're buying him for 75 cents on the dollar, only expecting 120, 130 innings, you're going to win that trade. Then we have Brian Reynolds, who's striking out a lot in the early part of the season, but that Pirates lineup is kind of such a disaster. It's pulling everybody down. He's very consistent. I'm confident he gets back to it. Then we have Taj Bradley, pitcher on the Rays. The strikeouts are there. The cutter has much more bite. I'm buying on Bradley right now. I think he's a great buy low spot. Then Dylan Cease, best pitcher to buy low, is one that just had one of the worst starts of his life. He's going to be fine. Next, we have Clay Holmes on the Mets. Holmes has kind of been getting a little bit better every single start. The lines are still a little bit ugly, but he's getting better with that cutter. He's getting better with that changeup. He's learning when to use his fastball, when not to. It's just about finding that sinker command, but that's something that's kind of going to come and go with him anyway. I think Clay Holmes is learning how to be a starting pitcher and someone you can kind of sneak onto your teams right now for cheap. Then Junior Caminero, I don't feel great about this one, but we saw the production last year. He still has A+++ bat speed. It's just kind of like an is it click or will it not click thing for Caminero, but I'm sure where he was drafted, a lot of his managers are totally panicking. So try and get him for like 60, 50 cents on the dollar and just hope you catch lightning in a bottle. Now last up here is Jason Dominguez on the Yankees. He's kind of holding the line right now, treading water better than I thought he would in this early part of the season. The strikeouts are not out of control. The bat speed's very good. I think if he hangs on and keeps doing this for another month, you're going to see a real hot streak from Jason Dominguez, and one I'd want him on my team for. Now I'm going to end with a couple buy low players I don't like. Tristan Casas, swing decisions are bad. He looks out of whack, uncomfortable at the plate. Anthony Santander, similar, just doesn't really look right now. I don't know. He might still be pretty good. I really thought he was going to be highly productive this season, but he can't keep swinging and missing like this if he wants to be. Then Michael Harris, I've talked about him a few times. Just the play discipline is so egregiously bad. Like, you're going to get a hot streak, but you're also going to get a cold streak that's just as bad as that was good, so I'm not in anymore. Then Zach Gallen doesn't look as sharp. Fastball's not missing as many bats. Kind of iffy. Again, I'm not telling you to drop these players. These are just guys I'm not buying low on. Isaac Paredes and the Astros, it's just, not good soft skills, hitting the ball on the ground too much. Like, I'm a little bit, I think he will have a hot streak, but I'm just worried about the expectations for Paredes as someone that was just bad, but now people assumed he'd be good just because of the new ballpark. Then Mason Wynn, I just don't think he does enough things to be truly fantasy viable. What are you getting, like 12 home runs and 15 steals with a middling batting average, hitting ninth in a Cardinals lineup? I just don't see it. Great real life player though. Then Seth Lugo, not missing many bats. Not the same storybook start to the season that Lugo had last year. Still think he's a good pitcher. The deeper your league gets, the more valuable a guy like Seth Lugo becomes. But if you're in a shallow 10-team league, he's not someone I'm outwardly seeking to buy at this moment. Then Luis Robert just looks awful, swinging through everything. If he gets traded, everything changes, but until that happens, if he's still in the White Sox, not buying in. Lastly, Willy Adames. Looks bad. This really just seems like that first year of the big contract, squeezing the bat a little too tight, trying to do too much kind of situation. Parker looks a little big for him. It's a very bad approach right now. I'm scared for Willy Adames this season. All right, guys, that's the buy low video. Please hit me up in the comments, some trade suggestions you have, some trade offers you've got, and I'm happy to help. Also, if you have any other buy low players, maybe some sell high players, drop them down there too. Might make that my next video. Gotta figure it out. No matter what, I will be back on Monday with another waiver wire video. But until then, thank you guys so much. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Big black button down there. Drop the video a like. Thank you again. I'll see you next time.